Guys, welcome to my channel and I'm back again with another really interesting video guys, and in this video, as you can see on my screen, we are going to discuss a super interesting topic which is called as agents. So yes guys, in this video we will understand what are agents, why do we need them, what are their advantages, and in the end we are also going to build one agent executed with a large language model. So without taking any time further, let's get started. So guys, what are agents? That's my first question guys. Okay. So if you are working with large language models, you are pretty much super familiar with something called as query engine, right? So that's the main thing we use the large language models for. We basically ask them a question, ask them a query, and they basically give us the answer, right? But what if you don't just want to ask a query? You want a task to be performed. So look at this flow here. This is a certain user which basically gives a task and want that task can be performed by certain tools. And it wants a large language model to actually decide which tool to use to perform that task, actually select the tool, perform the task, and finally give the result back to the user. So let's say in an easier example, let's say I want I am a teacher, okay, and I give my students a multiple choice questionnaire, okay. I give them certain subjects. So let's say I give them, okay, you have got science, you have got math, you have got English. What you have to do is you have to select any of these subjects and then you have to perform an action on them. So let's say you have to give a test on them, okay, and let's say I give them a question and I tell them that you can just study any of these subjects, math, science or English, and decide which subject actually best answers this question, then study it, solve the question and give me the answer. So let's say if I give them math, science and English and I give them a question called 2 plus 2, they are intelligent enough, because they are human beings, right? They are intelligent enough that 2 plus 2 is basically numbers. I have to study maths for it. They will study math, solve the question and give me the answer, right? And this is the exact same thing with agents. So it is not straightforward as just answering the question. It is a little bit complicated because here our agent is actually performing an action. But it is not just performing an action by its previous knowledge. No, it is actually selecting a tool which are given, selecting a tool from a set which are given to it, and then it is actually performing that action. Okay, and more often than not, this could be a really viable use case for when you are trying to integrate things or large language models with your existing applications. Okay, so let's say you have got a REST API, right? And you have got multiple endpoints in a REST API. Let's say you have got a REST API which has got one endpoint that is adding number, one endpoint that is deleting or subtracting, one endpoint that is multiplying, one is division. Okay, now all I give is a query that this is my equation, math equation, just solve it. Now, your large language model should be intelligent enough to select the correct API to actually solve that problem or solve that equation or solve the parts of that equation, and then progress the evaluation iteratively, and finally give the final result to the user. And in this way guys, it is pretty much very easy to integrate agents with your existing applications. Because what you can do is you can just create multiple tools out of your application. Okay, you can just create multiple tools and you give those tools to your agent, and your agent, with the help of a powerful large language model, will select the correct tool and perform the correct task. Okay, so I hope that is clear to you guys, that what are agents and how do they work. Now a little bit of small thing here. Why are we using what are the disadvantages of it? We know that there are certain advantages of it, but what are the disadvantages of it? And first of all guys, I will call this type of agent is also called as a React agent model, And what is a React agent model? It basically says it is a reaction of a reaction and action, okay, reasoning and action, sorry about that. So this type of agent model is called as reasoning and action agent model, okay. So what it basically does is it reasons out what tool is the best to use for me to perform this task, and then it actually performs the action on the basis of that reasoning, and that's called as React agent model, okay. And this type of model, this type of agent that we are using basically has got a lot of advantages, but it's got some disadvantages also. And if you go to this page, which I will definitely mark down in the description, you will see that why sometimes this agent model does not work. And the reason for that, guys, is that this type of model to work, it needs fine tuning, okay. So if you are using some LLM model which is not pretty good and not fine tuned enough to react or to reason such situations, it's not going to work. So let's say in your case, you have designed the API, right? And the model is pretty generic. It doesn't understand which API endpoints to hit for which particular tool. It doesn't understand it, right? So in that situation, what happens is that the model can select incorrect API and execute that instead of the other one. And that can be a major security compromise in my sense, right? You don't want that to happen. So if you want your reasoning model to work, your agent to work, you definitely need fine tuning. But you can see, guys, that if you actually fine tune that type of agent, it actually performs the best, in comparison with the COT model, which is basically the prompt engineering model, right? Or as also called as the chain of thought prompts model, where what you do is you basically provide your model a chain of thoughts as a prompt, and then it decides, okay, this is the chain of thought, this is the steps that were given to me. How do I actually go predict the next step on the basis of that? So if you actually fine tune your React model, it's going to work much better, or this type of agent is going to work much better, okay. Now this is one of the disadvantages, right? There are obviously a lot of advantages as well. So if you go scroll down a bit, you will also see the origin, which we don't want to discuss, but you will also see some of the advantages or benefits, right? So obviously one of the benefits is that improved decision making. Obviously you don't have to manually select the API to actually get it executed. You can easily make it seamless and avoid human error, right? By integrating it with a large language model. Then you can easily integrate it with external tools, and that's what I said, that you can just create tools out of the software program that you want to be executed and integrate it easily with your agent. And we are going to see that in a short point of time, how we are going to integrate those tools. There is a synergy between reasoning and action. So obviously you are setting up a good relationship, which is great for any developer to come and see and check that, oh, okay, this is the reason and that is why this action was executed. So it gives you a good explainability. Adaptability and resilience. This type of reasoning agent framework is great because it can adapt, it can integrate different tools with each other, and moreover than time, with fine tuning, it can learn a lot, right? And then it is human aligned and controllable, guys, because it is actually deciding which action to take on the basis of the tools that you provided. So it's sort of controllable. It improves your performance, obviously, and it is versatile and interoperable, okay, because definitely it overcomes the issues of hallucinations, and it also basically it tries to reduce the human error, because it sort of automates the thing a lot, and if you fine tune it, it's going to work a lot better, okay. So these are some of the advantages of using a React agent, or actually using an agent in general also. All these advantages does apply to using an agent in general as well. And if you are using a React agent model, Basically, it has got 5 components, and it is also pretty much generic whenever you are creating an agent, right? First thing is you need an agent to have a large language model, obviously. Then you need a tool, then you need a set of tools, because it has to decide from those tools which tool to take and actually execute the task. Then there are different agent architectures, okay? And we are not going to discuss all those architectures today, but you can see that they have got zero shot React, they have got React doc store, they have got OpenAI functions, and these are all specific for specific purpose. But actually generic one is zero shot React, which pretty much is used for any generic use case. Then you have got chain of thought prompting. So whenever you are using a React agent, it will have a chain of thought prompting inbuilt inside it, when it is going to actually use its reasoning capabilities to select a model. It is going to build a chain of thought inside itself, and with each and every step it is going to list down, okay, this is a step I'm taking, why I'm taking it, and what is the result for it. So this type of reasoning capabilities inside this React agent model helps it to actually have that chain of thought prompting and go to the next step and predict the next thing much more accurately. Then you have got the React prompting. Obviously, we have got a prompting technique for this type of agent model because we need it to generate traces and actions, right? So what chain of thought prompting basically says is this model can generate traces of the reasoning that it take for each and every task. But we also want the action and execution of each task, and that is called as React prompting. So for each and every step, it reasons out, it performs the action, gets the result, and passes on to the next step. So this is also called as React prompting, where we are taking the result and the reasoning from the previous step. Okay, so this is all about the theory part of what are agents, why do we need agents, why are they beneficial, and also now we have discussed a React agent model as well in detail. So now we are pretty much sure that we need agents to basically execute certain tasks, and now we also know that we have to provide it with certain tools to execute those tasks. Okay, so now that we know about agents a little bit, it is time to actually execute a code and see how they actually work. Okay, so let's go to the Google Colab. So this is the Colab notebook, guys. First of all, as you have already seen, I'm going to use LlamaIndex here. These are certain libraries that I have imported. Some of them are actually not needed. The Hugging Face one is not needed, but I just copied it from previous codes. It's just there. What I actually need is LlamaIndex groq, because we are going to use a groq AI inference, and then we need the basic groq model as well, module as well. And then let's go to Google Colab, take the user data, because we have got the groq API key present here, which we need to get. So we are just getting the groq API key, and finally I define my model, where I'm using the 3.1 llama model, which is 70 billion parameters trained versatile model. Now you can use a 3.2, 3 billion or 1 billion parameter model as well, but 3 billion and 1 billion parameter model, when I tried it out, was super slow when using agents, whereas the 70 billion parameter model was much more faster and way more accurate as well. So I would recommend to use this model, or at least a model which is trained on higher number of parameters. Okay, now I am importing certain libraries here for our agents. We are using a React agent from LlamaIndex core agent. We are using OpenAI, which actually we are not going to use, so you can remove that. Then we are using core tools. We are using a function tool to actually create our tools, right? So we need an agent and we need the tools for that agent. So first of all, there are two functions we are creating, and those functions are going to serve as tools for us. First is the multiply function. When we create this function, we basically now add it as a function tool. So we create a function tool from defaults, and we pass this function multiply, and this basically gives me a multiply tool. So now it has converted this function into a tool. Same goes with add. We have now converted add function also into a tool. Now we have got our tools, so now provide it to an agent, right? So this is my agent, which is React agent from tools. And now here I have got a list of tools being provided, which is multiply tool and add tool. Now remember, we needed tools and we also need a large language model, right? Which is the most basic part. So we need LLM model, and the LLM model was the Llama 3.1 70 billion parameter model that we have provided. We're going to make verbose true because we want to see every single step being executed. Now this is your agent. Now what else do you need in this agent? A simple prompt, right? A simple query. Something to perform these tasks. So what I ask this agent, a simple equation. What is 20 plus 2 into 4? Use a tool to calculate every step, right? And now you can see that it actually uses a chain of thought to calculate each and every step and use reactive prompting to pass the result to the next step and finally give us the correct result. So the thought is that the current language of the user is English. I need to use a tool to help me answer the question. I'll first calculate the multiplication part of the equation because it knows that the bracket is actually needs to be calculated first. So it does action multiply. It takes the input A, 2, B, 4 and the observation is 8. Now it goes to the next step and I have the result of multiplication. I can use it to calculate the addition. So the action is add. It does 20 plus 8 and the answer is 28. And now it says in the end I have calculated the entire equation and I can now answer the question, which is 28. And finally, if you don't want all these steps to be printed out, you can actually set the verbose to false and you can just print the response itself, which is 28. Okay. So that was it, guys. You can see that using these tools not only provide you a good explanation of why a tool was executed, it gives you a pretty good answer as well if you are using a good large language model. And in fact, these type of steps in reasoning are very helpful when you are logging. Okay, so whenever you are using your enterprise application, you need good logging to know why a certain thing happened. And at that point of time, this type of step on reasoning can give you a good overview of why an LLM model selected a certain tool to execute certain thing. And then you can debug it in future and also fine tune your model to make sure that if it executed a step incorrectly, later in the future it doesn't do that mistake. Okay. So how awesome was that, guys? I think this is a really good way of integrating your existing APIs or your existing applications with the large language model and AI and activate them with AI. I still think that fine tuning is a huge part of it. So definitely if you are using these models for something which needs security and something which needs good data quality, just keep in mind that you have to fine tune your model a lot. Okay, so that was the video, guys. I hope you guys liked this video. I'm going to definitely share all this information with you in the description section below. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to support my videos, then I would request you to give me a super thanks or join my channel. But if not, guys, please do like this video and share this video with your friends. If you have any question, comment, suggestion for me, please do write down in the comment section below. I would be really happy to address them. And in the end, guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon for future notifications of more such programming and coding related videos. I'll see you guys in the next video, guys. Until then, take care and bye bye.